Welcome to the 2025 Canada Cup, one of the biggest events in Canadian professional golf. The field is stacked, the course is demanding, and every shot matters. In this video, I'll take you inside my journey, from preparation to execution, as I battle against some of the best players in the country and from around the world. This is the Canada Cup, and this is what competitive golf is all about. Yeah. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a big one this week. We have made it to the best week of the year, hands down, every year. It is the week of the Canada Cup in Victoriaville, Quebec. It is a 4-day, 72-hole stroke play event. It runs Thursday through Sunday like most regular tour events, with a cut after 36 holes. The top 60 players and ties after the end of the second round will play the weekend and the two final rounds. And a lot of money on the line this week. $140,000 overall, with $35,000 going to first place. This could be an absolutely life-changing week if things go well. So status update on my game going into this week. The game absolutely is trending back in the right direction. I feel like I've been getting better, just a little bit better every day that I play, every day that I practice, which is really all that you can ask for. There's never gonna be massive improvements overnight kind of thing. So I've been trusting the process, and the process seems to be working. Now, if you've watched my latest video, you'll know that I struggled in my last end. Even though technically things were better, I struggled mentally because of some things that are going on in my personal life that I just wasn't able to kind of compartmentalize. I've been doing a lot of work on myself since that tournament, a lot of meditation, etc. Just trying to get my mind back into a better space, and realized, before coming out here this week, that I had to come out to Victoriaville with a good mindset and basically just embrace this week and everything that it has to offer. Because essentially I'm going to be in Victoriaville the entire week. I got here on Monday, played a practice round Monday afternoon, played in the Pro-Am on Tuesday, played a 9-hole practice round Wednesday morning before the Wednesday Pro-Am. Just really wanted to soak in the experience. As difficult as this season has been, it's tough at times to still recognize just how awesome what I'm doing is. And this week I basically just get to play golf full-time on a fun golf course in a great town with great people, and I'm just trying to be mindful of all of these things. I think that'll help me go into the tournament just with a better mindset than what I had last week. So the mindset is better, and the swing is actually feeling a lot better too. Just continue to kind of improve on what I've been working on recently. Less left misses, specifically off the tee, better contact with my irons and wedges. Now, unfortunately, on Tuesday before the Pro-Am round, I started to feel a lot of tension in my left trap and kind of a knot under the shoulder blade, and that extended up into my neck a little bit. Now, it really wasn't that bad. Like I said, I was able to play the Pro-Am and played very well. It didn't really affect my swing very much. I did work with the physio on site today. There was a lot of tension. I felt it was more just in the left shoulder and shoulder blade. Turns out it was both sides. So I've had some treatment. I'm going to continue working on that tonight, but at this point we basically just have to see what happens overnight, how I feel in the morning. So that's the one big if right now. Everything else feels good. I feel ready. If I can wake up tomorrow feeling healthy, I feel really good about our chances of having a good week. I'm really just, hoping that that's going to be the case. Anyway, that kind of sets up the week. I'm going to get back to work, getting my body better. I'll see you guys in the morning for the first round. All right, so it is the morning of the first round of the 2025 Canada Cup, and the aforementioned injury unfortunately has not gotten any better. In fact, it has gotten worse. What started off as having some pain and tension in my left trap and a little bit into my neck has actually extended down my back, all the way to the lower back, also affecting my hips a little bit. I am not feeling very good this morning. I'm in a lot of discomfort. Swinging on the range was painful would be a stretch, but say it wasn't easy. But we're here, and we're going to fight through this, and we're going to give this everything we've got. The Victoriaville Golf Club is a 6,601 yard course from the back tees. A lot of fun to play. It has 6 par 5s, 6 par 4s, and 6 par 3s, so it will present a lot of scoring opportunities, but it does also have a handful of holes that can be pretty tricky, so you really have to pick your moments as to where you want to be aggressive. The defense of the course really is the greens. They typically run fairly quick. They have a lot of slope. You got to be careful where you leave the ball. You generally want to be below the hole. Tee to green, not the trickiest course in the world, but you still have to hit the ball well if you want to score. And here we go for the 2025 Canada Cup. For this first round, we are in the morning wave. We are starting on the first hole. Par 4, dog legs to the left. Not very long, 332 yards. If I had more confidence in my driver right now, and more control, more than anything, I could hit driver and try to draw it around, get it close to the green. I've elected to hit 4-iron just over the right corner of the bunker that you see. This will give me a wedge in. Good swing there. Solid contact. Nice ball flight right down my line. That there, right there, is a pretty good start. So we find ourselves in the right center of the fairway. Pin on this first hole, a little bit on the back left part of the green. 85 yards left in here. This is just a controlled lob wedge, trying to get a little aggressive. Nice strike on a great line. Lands right next to the hole, unfortunately doesn't spin a ton, and it releases a little bit towards the back of the green. It is a very good shot, but it's not at the proximity that we are looking for. Still not sure why that didn't quite spin and bite. This putt here, bit of a double breaker right early left at the end. Just expected that to go a little bit heavier to the right at the beginning of the putt. Obviously it did not. It's a solid par to start, but I would have liked to have given that birdie effort a little bit of a better chance of going in. The second hole is a par 3 that plays downhill. They had the tees moved up a little bit today. It normally plays right around 200 yards. Today it was playing 180 yards. The green slopes severely from back to front, so you absolutely want to stay below this flag, which is why I'm hitting an 8-iron. And though that's on a good line, it didn't quite compress it. It was hit a little bit thin, so it came off a little dead. So it lands on the front of the green, falls back off to the front edge because of that little false front. Not a terrible shot, but not a very good swing. This leaves us 39 feet going back up the hill here. This should break a little bit from left to right. And that broke a lot from left to right. At least a lot more than I was expecting. I have left myself some work here for par. Going back across the green, it's going from right to left. Solid putt there to lock in the par. No damage done through 2. The third hole will be our first par 5 of the event. This one dog legs to the right, 512 yards, and though it looks fairly flat, this actually plays quite a bit uphill, though it's very gradual, so it's not obvious. I'm just trying to hit a solid drive here. I've started left center of the fairway, faded over towards that bunker. A bunker should not be in play if you hit a good drive. This was a decent hit, and it definitely just did not move to the right.
It is going to find the fairway, though, down the left side. That's not in a bad spot. We can do some damage to this hole from there, but you can see that hurt. The driver swings right now are hurting a lot. 244 yards left in here. This is my hybrid. This is green light situation. Just a massive pull hook from the middle of the fairway. That's going to take a kick to the left as well. That is not a very good golf shot. If I'm going to be hitting shots like that, this week is going to be very long. I have got to try to figure out a way to hit the ball better than that. So we are about pin high, but you can see I got a very bare lie and just struggled to commit to that shot. It was a very intimidating golf shot. I've still got to get up and down now to save my par. And from that position, that is very well played. Now, it is a disappointing par considering where we were off the tee. But if we'd made bogey or worse, that would have been absolutely disastrous. The fourth hole is a par 3, today playing 136 yards to a back right flag. Pin's kind of in a bowl back there. I'm hitting pitching wedge here, not quite full, taking just a little bit off of it. That actually felt like a very good swing. It's on a great line, lands in the downslope just short of the pin. I figured that was going to release down it a little bit more. Unfortunately, it did not. Kind of stayed on the downslope, so it's going to give us a bit of a tougher putt, but I'm not going to take anything away from the quality of that strike there. That was something I could build some confidence off of. So this putt here going downhill, breaking significantly from left to right. You can see just how quick that was. I barely got the ball moving, and I still had about 3.5 feet coming back here for my par. We're able to tuck that one away. Even par through 4 holes. The fifth hole is a 496 yard par 5 that doglegs hard to the right. So hard, in fact, that there is a line that you can take going up and over the trees, which will significantly shorten the hole for you. There's a V in the trees that you might see. Just left of that is where you need to go. Unfortunately, I missed this into the bigger V, the aforementioned V. You've got to hit it a long way to make the carry on that line. I'm going to hit a provisional just in case we don't find that one, though we should. Much better drive on the second one. That's the line I was looking for the first time. Driver swings are still hurting. We do find the first one. I'm in the right trees. I have no choice but to chip out. That was just a pitching wedge. Chipping this back out into the fairway. No choice but to play this as a 3-shot hole now. 124 yards left in. This is a gap wedge pinned on slightly on the left side of the green. This is just not very well hit. A little bit pulled and comes up well short of the target. And that is frustrating, because that right there should have been a scoring opportunity, and we have got what I can best describe as an outside chance at birdie after that approach shot. So from the front left fringe, going back up the hill, breaking from left to right. All in all, decent effort. I did expect that to turn a little bit heavier from left to right, but the pace was quite good. I'm going to be able to just walk up there. Don't even have to mark it. I can go ahead, tap in for my par, but so far we have not taken advantage of the scoring opportunities. The sixth hole is a par 3 today, playing 178 yards, going slightly uphill. This was slightly back into the wind today. The green on this hole is quite tricky. You can see there's deep bunkers on either side of the green. Basically just want to make sure that you're hitting green on this hole and then 1 or 2 putting your way out of here. That was a 6-iron that I clearly did not hit very well, and struggling with the body right now. Very hard to rotate through shots. That's going to work out okay. It is short, but it is on the fringe. So I'm going to be able to putt that from where I am, though I do have a tricky putt from that position. Going back up the hill, turning from right to left. It can be really hard to judge pace on a putt like this. Put a good roll on it, but as you can see, just left it well short of the hole. So I have still got some work here to do to clean up for par. Again, uphill, breaking from right to left. I'm able to tuck that away. Keeps us at even par through 6. The 7th hole is a 400-yard par 4 that doglegs from right to left. And you can see that I'm hitting 3-wood here. You can see a bunker down the left. Now 3-wood, even my hybrid, would take that bunker out of play. Obviously so would driver, but the further you go up, the more narrow it gets. 3-wood, for me, in my opinion, is nice and aggressive without taking off too much and forcing yourself to hit an absolutely perfect shot. But that 3-wood right there was very good. We have 107 yards left in here to a back left flag, this being a sand wedge that is all over it. I've got a little bit of a backstop I can use here. So you see I fly that past the pin, spin it back down. That was on a great line. Looked amazing from where we were in the fairway. Of course, we can't tell exactly how close it is from there. Once we got up to the green, it had stopped about 3 feet short. You can see me trying to work on my low back there. We've got a really good look at birdie here. Slightly downhill, a little bit of left to right in it.
Yeah.
We are on the board. 1 under par through 7. Nice birdie there. The 8th hole is a par 5. This week they've moved the tee box a little bit up for the entire week because they had issues with part of the fairway down the left side. You might just see it off in the distance there. So 524 yards. Dog legs pretty hard to the right. Trying to take this just left of the tree line on the right. And in an effort to not hit my now famous pull hooks that I've been dealing with this year, I leave the face a little bit open and miss it into the right trees. Now this is by no means the end of the world. It just means I have to play it as a 3-shot hole. I had 262 yards in. That right there was an 8-iron, just playing for position, trying to fade it around the corner so that I could keep it in the fairway. It did fade, but unfortunately not enough. 118 yards left in, back up the hill to this back flag. This is a gap wedge. Again, just struggling to make good contact here because of how I'm feeling physically. It's going to finish on the green, but that proximity is pretty poor, to be fair. I mean, I did have a wedge in my hands. Uphill putt here for birdie, expecting this to break from left to right. And that is not a very good read. Pace was great, but again, bad read. I've left myself a lot of work here for par. But the putter is feeling rock solid. And we're going to need that this week if we're going to be struggling with the ball striking. The 9th hole is a 395-yard par 4 that doglegs very hard to the right. Now you can see a bunker on the right corner there. This is my hybrid. I'm just trying to hit my hybrid right over that bunker. It's only about 225 to carry it. It shouldn't be that difficult. Again, just can't get through it. I remember that swing hurt a lot. Very poor contact, low off the heel, not even close to carrying the bunker. This leaves us 165 yards in to a back left flag. This is an 8-iron. I just caught it a little bit heavy. You can see I got a nice face full of sand there as we were going a little bit back into the wind. That's going to finish a little bit short right. Now, it's not in a terrible spot, but I have made this hole a lot more difficult than it normally has to be. 30 yards left here. This is my lob wedge. The one thing I'm trying to do is leave this below the hole. There is a ton of slope from back to front. Anything above this hole, you have to putt very defensively. So I left that about, I'm going to say about 7 or 8 feet below the hole. But this gives me a putt that I can be aggressive with. Just a little bit of right to left in this. Just need a good stroke. And that is a very solid par save. Again, putter feeling rock solid, and we need it. The 10th hole is a 406-yard par 4. This one doglegs hard to the left. You can see the bunker on the left corner on this one. I'm trying to hit my driver over that bunker. Now the left side of this hole is the driving range, which is out of bounds. I have not been missing the driver left much this week, but there it is. Unfortunately, what I'd been working on is a feel this week, which was preventing me from going left. I'm just not able to execute in the condition that I'm in physically. That's a provisional ball there. Now that one was definitely not going left again. This one bailed way out to the right. This is going to end up going through the fairway and the rough, finishing in the trees. Fortunately, we did not find my first one, so this is my 4th shot from the right trees. Nothing I can do but chip it out sideways. And this is becoming a pretty disastrous hole very quickly. 130 yards left in for my 5th shot. This is a pitching wedge slightly back into wind. Decent strike, but nowhere near my intended target line. It's going to land about pin high. Unfortunately, put a little bit more spin on that than I wanted. It's going to come back down towards the front of the green. I have got that putt left for double bogey. And though it's a decent putt from that distance, we are not able to convert it. I'm going to go ahead, tap in for triple bogey. So after playing the front 9, a little shaky, but playing it at 1 under, just like that, we are 2 over par for the tournament after 10 holes. The 11th hole is a par 3, today playing 162 yards. I'm hitting a 9-iron here. Pin is the back left of the green. Again, usually want to leave your ball a little bit below this pin position here. I'm looking to rebound, put a good swing on this, get myself some momentum back. That's a pretty horrendous shot with a short iron. Nowhere close to where we're trying to go, and I am struggling physically right now. Just doing everything I can to hang on and keep myself from having more blow-up holes like we'd had on 10. This is a very tricky up and down here. I cannot land this on the green. I have to land it short and just hope that I judge how the ball is going to release properly. And that was a very well played short game shot. Tap myself on the back there a little bit. That up and down after making triple on 10 really set me up to believe that I could still get through this round without taking myself completely out of the tournament. The 12th hole is another par 5, this one playing 520 yards, dog legs to the right, looking for a good drive here. And we hit a very similar drive to the one we'd hit on 10. Again, remember that one being very painful. That is going to find the left trees. That is not ideal. I'm going to go ahead, hit a provisional just in case we don't find that. Hit that one a little bit better. A little high on the club face. Almost got up there pretty quickly, but that is going to find fairway. So that's better. So we end up finding my first one. It is far from being ideal. I don't really have an angle to advance this one very much. The only thing I can try to do is try to kind of rope hook a 5-iron around a little bit just to advance it and give myself a shorter shot in, but this is not a great situation. I hit that great, it did hook. Unfortunately, it didn't elevate a ton, so it's not actually going to end up going that far. It does leave us 233 yards left. This is a 4-iron going slightly downhill. And on this angle, I needed this to cut a little bit to get onto the green. Unfortunately, it did not, though I have to say it was one of the better swings I've made today. That's going to find the front left bunker, and the pin is in the back right of the green. This is no gimme sand save right here. It's a very tricky shot to judge. This is my sand wedge. Just blasted out of the bunker. All things considered, pretty good proximity from where we were though we have left ourselves a very tricky putt for par. You can see, yeah, I don't normally kind of rest in that position. I'm in a lot of pain today. This putt, breaking heavily from right to left. Yeah. Another absolutely crucial par putt there. I'm happy that I'm making these, but I wish I was not in that situation as often as I have been. The 13th hole is the second of back-to-back par 5s here. This one dog legs to the left and is a little on the shorter side, 480 yards. And again, you can cut the corner over the left trees here and really shorten up the hole. Now, driver hasn't been good, but I'm going to keep pushing. Though I'm not swinging super hard, that was actually a pretty good drive. That felt nice. We haven't seen much of that today. 164 yards left, going a little bit uphill, back into wind. This is an 8-iron. Decent strike there. That's back-to-back pretty good swings. It's on a good line, just right of the flagstick. Gonna finish just below pin high, which is fantastic. That gives us an uphill eagle putt. We have this putt here to get ourselves back to even par for the tournament. This would be massive. Breaking from right to left. And finishes right behind the hole on the left side of the hole. That was millimeters from catching the cup and dropping. Unfortunate miss for eagle. It was a good putt, and it's a good birdie nonetheless. Back to 1 over par for the tournament. The 14th hole is a very good par 4, slight dogleg right, as you can see, bunker down the right. This one 438 yards. I'm hitting driver, and I'm going to tee this one a little bit lower and just try to hit a bit of like a fairway finder, a little bit of a cut on it. And that, again, very nice swing. That's a few good swings in a row here. It's like, where was this earlier? I don't know. 148 yards left to a back right flag. This is a 9-iron going slightly uphill. Decent strike, a little off the toe. Line was okay. It's basically just middle of the green. I would have liked to have been a little more aggressive from there, but I'm just doing the best that I can in the condition that I'm in. Uphill birdie putt here. Should break a little bit from left to right. Absolutely an outside chance. Never quite had that one on line, but again, from that distance, it's a fairly good effort and very good proximity. I'm able to go ahead, tap in for my par. Keeps us at 1 over par. The 15th hole is a very good par 3. Tricky hole. 207 yards today. Green with a ton of slope on it. Deep bunkers on the right, you got a bunker left, you got a bunker long. You're just looking to hit the green here. That's a 5-iron. Again, good swing there, good hit. That's slightly back into the wind. Comes up just shy of pin high, but right in the center of the green. Leaves us a 25-foot putt for birdie going uphill, breaking considerably from right to left. See, I had that read pretty well, just did not hit it hard enough to give it a chance to go in, but it is going to be an easy par on a fairly challenging hole. Now, the 16th hole is one of the most, say, tricky par 5s that I have ever played. You can see it's quite narrow, it's hazard, the entire left side of the hole, all the way from tee to green. There is an internal out of bounds right of the trees. I'm hitting 4-iron because I feel like I can confidently put this club in play every day. Whereas hitting driver, you basically have to hit a perfect shot, 3-wood, same kind of deal. To me, it's not worth the risk. After hitting 4-iron, I can now open up and hit hybrid and get this up around the corner and give myself a wedge in. To me, it is the simplest way to play the hole, which is still going to give me a lot of good looks at birdie, but it's going to avoid me making bogey or worse on this hole. We have 104 yards left into this left flag for our third shot. That is a sand wedge that I pull a little bit towards the left side of the green. Decent for distance. Didn't get a ton of spin out of that first cut there. But again, considering we have a wedge in hand, we have 27 feet for birdie, and that's just not good enough proximity. This putt breaking from left to right. Slight underread, but again, very good for pace. Would have loved to have made a birdie there. It's another easy par, and unfortunately the proximity to the hole on the greens has just not been good enough for us to convert a lot of putts. 17 is another very tricky par 3. This really is kind of the amen corner of this golf course, 15, 16, and 17. 200 yards today. I'm hitting a 4-iron. This is slightly back into the wind, just trying to hit a low draw. And I started on my line, but it does not draw. It's going straight to that bunker, and I know to that pin position, that is a problem. Pin is on the right side of the green. I'm in the right bunker, and the entire green slopes from right to left. So you're going to see me, I'm going to go onto the green, I'm going to figure out where can I land this ball to get it to stop as close to the hole as possible. I'm not going to get it close, but how close can I get it? You're going to see I'm aiming well right of the flag. I'm just trying to land this on a spot, let it check, and then release down to the left. And that, though the proximity is not that impressive, was an incredibly good shot from that position. This leaves me about 12 feet going back up the hill, turning a little bit from left to right for my par.
Yeah.
And just add that to the list of some remarkable up and downs that I've made today to keep myself in the game. The 18th hole is a short par 4 coming in at 371 yards. This one dog legs from left to right. Now my plan for the week had been to just hit a big cut with driver around the corner and get as close to the green as possible. The way that I've been hitting driver today, I'm not prepared to do that. A left miss here is dead. I decided to hit hybrid, and I basically skied it. Just hit a little heavy, caught it high on the face. It's in the fairway, but that went nowhere. I still have 165 yards left into a hole that I'm normally hitting like sand wedge or lob wedge into. That's a 7-iron going back into the wind. It's a little further left than I wanted it, but the plan was to go left of this flag. As you see that slope right of the flag, you don't want to be there. That is incredibly quick. So, though the proximity isn't great, I have 27 feet. This at least is a putt that I can be a little bit aggressive with. This turning from left to right, going uphill. And it looked good for a minute, but look at how much that turns up at the top. Just completely underread that one. This putt here for par. And that concludes an opening round of 1 over par 73, which is definitely not what we wanted, but given how I'm feeling physically and all of the positions that we'd put ourselves in around the, oh my god, look at that hat tan. Wow. Yeah, all the positions we'd put ourselves in around the greens today, the 73 was quite respectable. We are not out of this, but we are going to need a good round tomorrow. Alright guys, round 1 recap from the Canada Cup. I'm getting pretty tired of saying this, but today was tough. I've been up here for a few days, practice rounds, pro-ams, and I've been focusing a lot on the mental side because, as you will know if you follow the channel, last week mentally was very difficult. I'd been working a lot on my swing. Things were really trending in the right direction. I was very happy with where my game was going into this week. Wake up this morning and I knew kind of immediately that my mobility wasn't great. Just everything kind of like low back, glute, hips, very, very tight, a lot of discomfort.
stretched, used the foam roller massage gun this morning. Figured it was going to get better as I warmed up. Unfortunately, it didn't, and it actually ended up getting a lot worse as the round wore on. The ball striking did get a little bit better later in the round once I was able to find a way to adapt, but at that point the damage was kind of done. 1 over par 73, and to be honest, very lucky to be at 1 over. Could have easily shot close to 80 today with the ball striking. My putter was good. We didn't make anything long, but I made everything inside of 10 feet, which is always going to help. And I had some very good up and downs, specifically on the back 9 to kind of keep things going. But a lot of trouble getting off the tee. And that was one of the things that I was most excited about this week, was in the 3 days that I've been up here preparing for this event, I had not missed a single tee shot left. And we had a few left misses today, and obviously the 1 on 10, which ended up being very costly. At the end of the day, we're not in a great spot. I think we are, we tied 76th or 77th right now. Top 60 in ties make the cut. So I've got to get a good round in tomorrow. I worked with the physiotherapist on site as soon as I got off the course. I got some relief there. That's great. I've got a lot of work that I have to do myself tonight. Foam rolling, massage gun, stretching, all of that. We also did go hit a few balls after I had worked with the therapist, and I actually hit it quite well. You could tell right away that I was moving better after having worked with the physio. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing what I can to stay on top of the physical side of things tonight. We have a later tee time tomorrow, seeing as we teed off in the morning wave today. We have a 2:20 tee time. I've booked an appointment at 9:30 tomorrow morning with the physio, so I'm going to go work with her again, try to loosen up the low back and hips and everything. I'm going to get her to tape my back, just do everything we can to stack the odds in our favor. But I mean, I think we need to go. We got to go 4 deep tomorrow minimum, in my opinion, to make the cut. We got to get
to make the cut.
Yeah. I think we got to get to 3 under to safely make the cut.
Really?
Yeah. Safely make the cut. So I'm aiming for 5 or 6 under, which on this golf course is very gettable. You know, like, I didn't hit my irons great today, but they weren't awful. I just need to get off the tee. If I can get off the tee tomorrow, we're chilling. It really all comes down to that one club. I did not play the par 5s well today, and that's really what makes or breaks your game in this tournament on this course. So that's it for now. Yeah, I'm disappointed, obviously. I'm glad I finished the round, because there were times where I was in so much pain I thought I might have to withdraw. I'm proud of the fight, but I'm disappointed with where we are, all things considered, and got a lot of work ahead of me tomorrow, so stay tuned.
Alright, so we are back for round 2 of the 2025 Canada Cup. And in the round 1 recap, you will have heard me say that pretty sure getting a 3 under safely puts us inside the cut line, so we are aiming for 68 at worst today. Now, I did work with the physio after the first round. It did help. I'm not in as much pain today, but I still don't feel like my mobility is great. So we're gonna see what it gives once we get on the golf course. I did hit the ball. I felt slightly better than the previous day on the driving range, but it is still far from great. We're hoping for better ball striking. We're definitely still gonna have to lean on the putter today. Let's go. Have a day.
Du club de golf Griffon des Sources au Québec, James Garland Davis.
And here we go. So seeing as we'd played the morning on Thursday, starting on 1 for this round on Friday, we are off of the 10th tee in the afternoon. Now, lots of debate before getting to this moment about what club I was going to hit on this tee based on what had happened in round 1. to the point where I was thinking of just hitting a 4-iron and putting it out in play and making sure that we avoided any kind of disaster to start the day. But last minute decision to hit 3-wood because I want to be aggressive. And this is going left. That's been the miss with 3-wood. It's okay. It's not hard enough left that it's OB, but my lord, that was terrifying. 122 yards left in here from the left rough. I don't have a great angle. That's a sand wedge, slightly pulled, did get it up over the tree. It's going to land in a good spot, but unfortunately took a pretty good hop forward, and that's going to get past pin high, which is going to give me a really tricky birdie putt here. This one is going to be going downhill, breaking from right to left, and if you're not careful, this putt can get away from you very quickly. This is absolutely not the leave. I planned on leaving this short right, not going long left. See that going down the hill, turning left. Obviously turned a little left, a little more left than I expected, but for pace, it was pretty decent. This left for my par, and that is a hole 3 shots better than we played that hole in the first round. We'll take that. On to the par 3 11th hole. Now you'll remember in the first round I did not hit a great shot here. 155 yards today, again hitting 9-iron. Pin kind of in the center of the green but towards the back. Looking for a good swing here. That was not a good swing. Very similar to the swing the day before. Just not able to get the club back out in front of me, getting stuck, flipping the hands over. We're going to have another very tricky up and down here from a similar spot to where we were in the first day, though with the pin placement I have more green to work with. This is running quickly downhill once you get over that little slope there, and unfortunately I needed to carry that about an extra yard for it to take a kick forward and go down the hill. We have a lot of work left here for par, going downhill, turning from left to right on a good line, and just turns a little bit more than I'd expected. That's going to be a bogey on our second hole of the day, and that is not what we need right now. Bogeys are taking us further and further away from where we need to be. Now we do have back-to-back par 5s here on 12 and 13. We want to take advantage of the par 5s today. In fact, we kind of need to if we want to make the cut and play the weekend. This one, 519 yards, doglegging to the right. Again, missing it to the left. Very similar to the drive that I hit in the first round. This has been a pretty frustrating start to the day. So in the left trees, as we were in round 1, 260 yards in, this is a 5-iron, just trying to advance the ball, give myself a wedge in. Well hit there, got it under the branches, advancing that, chasing it down the fairway, I should say. We will have a wedge shot in from there. 108 yards in, this is a sand wedge, kind of tricky wind at the moment. Felt like it was a little bit down, so I hit a bit of a small sand wedge. Turns out the wind was a little bit into, that's going to land short of pin high and spin back towards the front of the green. Decent swing, decent contact, but at the end of the day, pretty poor proximity from that distance. This birdie putt here going uphill, turning from left to right. And just a bit of an underread, and also a little bit off for pace. Did not realize how slow that was going to be going back up that hill. We're going to be able to walk up, tap in for our par. But that is one par 5 out of 6 gone that we clearly have not taken advantage of. On to the 13th hole, where we'd actually played this hole really well in round 1. This is the one where you have to cut the corner over the left there, shorten up the hole. Anything that doesn't cut the corner, considering I'm hitting driver, is going to go through the fairway into the trees. Need a good one here. Now, it's not a left miss, but that is going way too far right on this hole. That's going to go through the fairway towards the trees. Luckily, it got a very soft bounce, soft to the point where I had a pretty significant piece of mud on the ball. It's right at the cart path. We are not in a great spot. It's not a great lie. We have 210 yards in. I pulled out 4-iron. The plan here is just hit it as hard as you can and try to chase it up. If it comes out, well, great. Did not come out that great, but it is going to chase down the fairway and get reasonably close to the green, so it turns into a fairly good layup shot. 50 yards left here to this pin on the right side of the green. This my lob wedge. Clip that nicely on a good line, land it short, let it check and release up towards the flag. Very nice mid-length wedge shot there. That gives us about 3 feet, turning a little bit from right to left. That's a birdie. We're back to even par on the day and 1 over for the tournament. On to the par 4 14th, where I'm going to try and hit a very similar drive to the one I'd hit in round 1, where I tee the ball a little bit lower, and instead of trying to kind of hit the bomb, I'm just trying to hit a little bit more of a bullet drive here. I mean, it's still going to get up in the air. It's not a stinger, but it's just a little bit easier to control. That was pretty well hit, though, just turned a little bit to the left on me, but that's really not going to be in any kind of trouble. It is just going to chase through the fairway and find the first cut. 127 yards left in here. This is my gap wedge. And decent strike, but struggling with direction. That is well left, considering I was inside of 130 yards. Not very good proximity. Downhill putt, turning a little bit from right to left. Outside chance, but I want to give it a chance. And all in all, good effort. Left that right next to the hole. Would have wanted to be a little more aggressive with that given the circumstances, but you also don't want to run it 6 feet past. The par 3 15th today, playing 205 yards. We hit 5-iron on this hole the previous day. Today it's a slightly different wind, so I'm going ahead and hitting a 6-iron. Now pin is middle left side of the green here. Decent strike, a little bit offline, a little bit left. It's going to end up being pin high, left side of the green. From that distance, not a bad shot. This is a tough hole. Uphill birdie putt here, breaking from left to right. Looked good for a long time. Just lacked a little bit of pace on that line. Although I do like the pace of that putt, I should have just started it a little bit higher. This here for our par. Tuck that away. So far this week, we have played this hole very well. On to the tricky par 5 16th. Now again, hitting 4-iron on this hole, I am taking the same approach that I took in round 1. Just want to hit a solid 4-iron off the tee and then start to get a little bit more aggressive from there. That starts with a good swing here. Decent strike, but turned over quite a bit. This is heading towards the hazard.
Yeah, you're fine.
Gets a soft bounce, stays in play. That was pretty lucky, to be honest. Hitting hybrid out of the rough here, just trying to advance it, give myself a wedge in. Decent strike, but again going a little bit left on me. That definitely seems to be the trend right now. It's okay, but it's going to finish in the left rough. 118 yards into a back left flag. This, my sand wedge here, really good number for this club. Good hit, but just caught a little bit of a flyer. That's going to fly past the flag, and as you can see, 0 spin on the ball. Once it lands, that is off the back of the green. That is not ideal. This chip going from the back of the green down the hill, turning from left to right. Just bump it onto the surface. Let gravity do the work for you. Pretty good for pace. Didn't see it turning that far right, but The proximity is good enough that I really don't have to stress about this putt. Good par, all things considered, but another par 5 that we did not take advantage of. The 17th hole today, playing 210 yards. This was slightly downwind today. The pin's in the middle, if we're going left to right on the green, but way at the back. I'm hitting 5-iron. I'm just trying to hit this kind of middle of the green. Not trying to get too aggressive here. And that was just an awful strike, really low on the club face. Doesn't even cover the front edge, but just chases up to the front of the green. That is going to leave us a 93-foot putt from the front of the green to this back pin placement, breaking heavily from right to left. You can see I hit that pretty hard. The line looked really good. I thought the pace was going to be pretty good, but it came up about 10 feet short. We have got work left to do here for par. Again, breaking from right to left. We need this. And unfortunately, just a slight overread. And that 3-putt hurt. We cannot afford that at this point in the tournament. So we are 2 over par overall, and we have got to get this turned around quickly. There is no room for more mistakes. Hitting hybrid again today on the 18th hole. Just not trusting driver enough in the condition that I'm in physically to try and hit a big fade around the corner. Now, we didn't hit hybrid well on this hole in round 1. Just looking to put a good swing on this. And I hit this kind of low heely out to the right. It's in play, but it's not great. That is going to find the fairway bunker down the right side. We have 122 yards in here. This is a gap wedge. And bailing out to the right here. Again, not very well hit. This is going to finish short right in a little collection area. That is not a good leave. We have got a lot of slope to contend with from there. See, I go down below the flag, just trying to figure out where the fall line is, because I am not going to be able to start this chip anywhere near the hole. I have to throw this out onto the slope to the right and just let gravity take it down. That is another very nice chip shot right there. Thank God the short game showed up. This could have gotten embarrassing. Good par there. 9 holes left to turn things around. So turning around onto the front 9, this is the first hole. Again, dogleg left, short par 4. I'm hitting 4-iron again, just as I had the previous day, over the right corner of that fairway bunker that we see. Again, this tee shot's been good this year. I got hit both 4-irons quite well. They were pretty much exactly what I'd pictured. Let's draw some confidence off of that. 88 yards left in to a pin at the front of the green. Need a good wedge shot here. And though that was well strike, it again is pulled to the left. You can see this is going to land just past pin high. It's going to start coming down that slope a little bit. The problem is that the one place I couldn't put that was left of the flag, because the putt that I have left myself is next to impossible. Way downhill, a ton of break from left to right. And man, I felt like I barely touched that thing and it still had too much pace on it. That was tough. A little bit of work left here for our par. No damage done, but again, we need birdies right now. We got to do better than we just did there. Par 3 second hole today, playing 198 yards. Today hitting a 6-iron. They'd moved the tees further back where they normally would be, so it is playing about 20 yards longer. And a little bit downhill, pin a little bit on the right side of the green. Not my best strike. The contact was okay, but it felt a little toey. Again, gonna leave that at the front of the green. We have got another very long birdie putt on this par 3. 68 feet going back up the hill. I felt good about this putt when I hit it. And it finishes well short. We are not making this easy right now. 8 feet back up the hill to save par. And we lean on the putter again. Thank God we are putting well. So this is the first of 3 par 5s on this front 9. Again, need to take advantage of these par 5s. We are running out of holes. These are our best birdie opportunities. This one, just over 500 yards, 512 yards. Dog legs to the right, trying to hit a little fade over the bunker. And it does fade. In fact, it overfades a little bit, but that should be okay. And in fact, it ended up hitting the cart path and getting some extra distance out of it. Middle of the fairway, 158 yards in. This is a 9-iron. One of the better iron shots I've hit over the last 2 days, to be honest. Good for line, good contact, pretty good proximity from that distance. We've got an uphill look here for eagle on the 3rd hole. It's going left to right.
Get in. Oh.
And just the slightest of underreads. I swear to God, there was a dimple that actually hit the lip of the hole there. It did not fall, but it is a birdie. That gets us back to 1 over par. So we have 6 holes left, and I figure I need to make 4 birdies safely to make the cut. Might get away with 3, but we're aiming for 4. Starting on the par 3 4th hole, 128 yards today. This is a gap wedge, pin on the left side of the green. It's a pretty good strike, but you can see again a little bit left of my target. All in all though, that's a pretty good shot, but again I've left it on the wrong side of the hole. Anything right of that hole would have given me a fairly simple uphill putt. Instead I have got a quick downhill putt. It's going to turn ever so slightly from right to left as it goes down the hill. Good roll, good pace.
Oh my God.
And just kind of kisses the left edge and stays out. Now, the putter's been good, but we can't expect that we're going to be making these kind of long 30-footers all the time. It's a good par, but that's another birdie that we have missed out on. 5 holes left, 4 birdies needed. We do have 2 par 5s. But we have got, it's basically mistake free from this point on. So the par 5 5th hole, hitting driver up over the trees again, trying to shorten the hole for us. Good drive here, and birdie should be fairly easy from that point in. That's a pretty good drive, though it did draw on me just a little bit. It's going to work out okay, but because of the draw, it's going to go just through the fairway and finish in the first cut. 194 yards in here. This is a 6-iron, trying to hit a little draw just around the tree. And I get completely out of sequence. Lower body gets way out ahead. Hands fall behind. Terrible contact. Low and to the right. Put that in the right greenside bunker. Again, not making this easy. So, mid-length bunker shot here. This with my lob wedge. Just trying to pop this up on the green. Let it check. Good contact.
Sit.
Like my landing spot. And it just really didn't seem to check. So this here for birdie. Went back across the green, turning from left to right. I mean, my pace control has been really good in this tournament, and out of nowhere, I left that one about 4 feet short. And that just felt like the slowest putt I had hit all week. In for par, but a major missed opportunity given the circumstances. Onto the par 3 6th hole, today playing 180 yards, going slightly uphill. Hitting a 7-iron today, you can see the pin just on the left side of the green. Need a good shot here to give us a makeable look at birdie. And that's actually probably the best iron shot I've hit over the last 2 days. It is slightly right of my target, but actually compressed the ball very nicely there. Good for distance control. It's pin high, just kind of middle of the green, but just outside of 25 feet here, breaking from right to left. And it's a good roll, but again, a slight overread. That's another missed opportunity, even though it was an outside chance. Tap that in for our par. We have 3 holes left, and we have to play them at 3 under par minimum. Onto the par 4 7th, again hitting 3 wood today, just trying to do exactly what I'd done in round 1. 3 wood over the right corner of the bunker gives me a wedge in. There is that dreaded left miss with the 3 wood, which has been happening recently and tends to happen more often when I'm not feeling well physically. Now luckily this did stay out of the trees somehow, but I have 188 yards in. This is a 7-iron. A decent strike on an okay line. Didn't quite get all of that, so it's not going to get up to pin high. It's very much at the front of the green, and that pin's kind of more back right. So we have 45 feet here going up the hill for birdie. It's essentially a must make. Good roll on a good line. Oh, expecting that to come back left at the end, and it didn't really turn much until it got past the hole, unfortunately. Great effort from 45 feet, all things considered. We have 2 holes left, par 5, par 4. We need to go eagle, birdie here. Or birdie eagle, I guess, but eagle birdie would be more likely. Looking for a good drive here on the par 5 8th to set us up to attack this green in 2. That's probably the best drive I've hit over the last 2 days. Just waiting to see where it's going to kick. It somehow kicked forward and left, or forward and right. Normally that would kick a little bit more to the left. We have 213 yards left. We are in A1 position. We need a good iron shot here. This, my 4-iron, going slightly back up the hill. And like the second shot on 5, my sequencing is off. I leave it out to the right. That finds the bunker. So gotta try and hold this. At worst, we gotta get up and down, and then we gotta hole out for eagle on 18 to give ourselves a chance to make the cut. Good strike. Didn't quite get it far enough up the hill. You see it breaks away from the hole there going to the left. It gives us a good look at birdie here. It's an uphill putt. Should be fairly straight. If anything, should break towards the front of the green, so it should go to my right. You can see at the end that just took a little turn to the left and lips out. And that right there essentially mathematically eliminates us from making the cut. On to the 9th hole, where the previous day I'd hit hybrid and that was the game plan, but seeing as we're now eliminated mathematically, I've decided to just pony up and hit driver and commit to hitting a nice, high, well, strong fade around the corner, let's say. That was very nicely done. I've never felt comfortable hitting driver on this hole. That one felt good. 91 yards left here. This is my lob wedge going to a back right flag. Tough flag to get to. See, the ball's a little above my feet, so it should draw a little bit. I don't really want to start it too far right at that flag. See, it landed reasonably close and spun back and left off of that slope. Got a 30-foot putt here going uphill, turning from left to right. Another good roll. Line was pretty good. Comes up just short. And that's been the story of the last 2 days. Poor proximity on the approach shots, and just unable to make any bombs with the putter, which, I mean, you shouldn't expect to. We putted really well inside of 10 feet. But whenever I had looks for birdie or better, proximity was just not good enough. It's been a tough, frustrating 2 days where, as prepared as I felt, as confident as I felt coming in, the injury flare-up once again just getting in the way.
All right, guys, obviously very disappointed, pretty devastating to not make the cut here at the Canada Cup. Before I break that down, which I will do a little later on, I'd like us all to say a big thank you to Matt here. This is the last tournament that Matt will be filming for, I guess, the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Matt's about to go back to school, so that's obviously going to have to be his focus. It's been a wild ride the last two seasons. To be perfectly honest, like the first event that you filmed was Canadian Open qualifying in Plainville last year.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Like, I barely knew the guy. He'd never really filmed anything in his life. He was just like on the fly, you know, like quick learner.
Missed 2 shots.
Did you? Yeah, you did. You missed a couple shots, but hey, you know, like we learn, right? Like,
Sure.
Obviously, I've had the chance to spend a lot of time with Matt over the last 2 years, and we've grown pretty close. Like, I love you like a brother and a son, and I'm gonna miss you, man.
I'm gonna miss you too.
Yeah, and honestly, without Matt, this channel probably doesn't exist right now. So I owe you a great debt of gratitude, my friend.
Yeah,
and I will not forget about this. And guys, if you can, if you feel up to it, say thank you to Matt and wish him good luck at school down in the comments. As that's it for now. Breakdown coming after this.
All right, guys, back at home. It's been a couple of days since the second round at the Canada Cup. So I've had some time to, first of all, have more treatment done. Let's start with that. I did stay over in Victoriaville on the Friday night after the second round, and once all the players were on the course on Saturday, I went back and worked with the physio again. I was in a ton of pain Saturday morning, so had the physio kind of help me out a little bit, and literally had her like tape up my upper back and neck just so I could drive home in less pain. It was not a good day. I have since worked with my osteopath as well, so we are seeking treatment. I'm doing everything I can to get the body back on track. As for recapping the golf, there's not a lot I can say when it comes to the ball striking. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, I feel like the swing had been really the best it had been all season leading up to the tournament, and then the injury flare-up prevented me from being able to execute, which is so supremely frustrating. And it's just kind of a continuation of, you know, what seems like endless obstacles to overcome this year. So ball striking, not going to waste too much time on that. Now, short game and putting were overall very strong. Now, I didn't make really any bombs on the greens. And unfortunately, because the ball striking wasn't good, we did have a lot of, like, I can't remember the number of times I paced out my putts and had like 27 feet, like 27 foot putts just don't go in very often. What I'm more interested about, and this is the thing that for every tournament, is how good I am inside of 10 feet. And over the 2 days, I missed 1 putt inside of 10 feet, which is a very, very strong stat. I mean, PGA Tour average from 8 feet is 50%. So, you know, we were well above that inside of 10 feet. And around the greens, you know, we put ourselves in some pretty awkward spots at times. And more often than not, I was able to get up and down, which obviously is going to help the score. I'm just looking forward to the point where, you know, it's like maybe I only have to do that a couple times around and not feel like I'm doing it all the time. So short game was good, putting was good. Thank God they were, because the scores could have been pretty embarrassing had they not been. And we got to continue. We need to continue that, because you're never. I don't care how good your ball striking is. If you're not putting the ball in the hole, you're not going to score. But my main focus right now has to be getting the body healthy again, because it doesn't matter how hard I work and how much progress I make with my swing and my technique. If I'm going to show up to an event and I can't perform physically, then it's all for nothing. So that's my number one focus. I do have a couple of weeks right now before my next tournament, which is very nice timing for me, because it does give me a chance to work on the body a little bit, but it also gives me a chance to continue, once I feel a little bit healthier, to continue the work that I've been doing leading up to the Canada Cup. Because again, very disappointing week. A lot of obstacles, again, had to be overcome, but I'm trying really hard to see the positives here. Believe it or not, based on the fact that we just missed the cut, there were still a lot of positives, and I've got to find a way to focus on that and continue building off of the recent momentum I've had, because I really feel like the good tournament results are not far away. I don't have a ton of tournaments left, but I still want to finish the season as strong as I possibly can. Big thank you again to Matt for not just filming the Canada Cup, but all of the work he has done for this channel over the last 2 seasons. As previously mentioned, the channel does not exist in the capacity that it is right now without Matt's work, hard work, and dedication. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in. Really appreciate the support, all the nice comments that I'm getting. I really do feel the love from you guys. Please go ahead, drop a like on this video, leave me a comment down below. If you're new to the channel or you've been around for a little while and you haven't yet, it would be a massive help to us if you just clicked on that subscribe button. That's going to be a wrap for this video. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll be back again next week with another video. Cheers, guys.